Hello y'all, I'm Blue Dog Politics and welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to be discussing Pennsylvania and its importance to the 2020 presidential election. This state really, I think, is going to prove key to either Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Whoever wins, I think, needs to win Pennsylvania to win the election as a whole. As we take a look at the JHK forecast, and the way they view the race to 270. I took a screen grab of their current electoral allocations. They have Joe Biden winning by 357 electoral college votes, Donald Trump at 181. And you can access this forecast for yourself at jhkforecast.com. And they update this every day. They put new information in. It's almost kind of like the 538 projections. But this is the way that they're viewing the race at 270. The part that I screen grabbed are the two bars that they're using to show how states are going for each candidate. Each little block you see here, and it's easier to see with the lighter colors, but there are little blocks throughout these bars. Each block represents a state. The bigger the block, the bigger the electoral vote. States that are all the way to the left, those are safe, either Democrat or Republican areas. And states that are getting closer to the left are not as safe, and definitely the furthest out you go, those are the more toss-up. And you can kind of see with the lightening of the colors that represents, how each candidate is projected to perform in that state. So, if we were to assume that these toss-ups in Joe Biden's column start to trend a little bit more Republican, those would be the first states. And if this race were to get closer, those would be the states that we would be looking at to fall into the Donald Trump category. So Donald Trump has to start chipping away at these states. If we zoom into the 270 marker, and again, we've allocated these states based on how safe they are and how Democrat and Republican they are. These states around 270 are likely going to be the states that are deciding the election. Right now, the JHK is forecasting that Joe Biden is going to win Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin by comfortable margins. But if this race tightens up considerably, like we saw in 2016, these are going to be the states to watch here in the Rust Belt. And that's no secret. This is what we've been looking at for the past few years when looking at the 2020 election. Wisconsin looks to be the tipping point state, and a tipping point state are states that put you over the 270 threshold for the Electoral College. So that very well could be Wisconsin, but right behind it is Pennsylvania. I think if Joe Biden has not won Pennsylvania, he likely is not going to win the election. That means that to make up for Pennsylvania, Joe Biden will need to win more Republican states than Democratic states, which is going to be a very difficult thing to do if you're losing Pennsylvania. If Joe Biden has won Pennsylvania, he's likely on his way to 270, as we see here. So we'll get into Pennsylvania. First, I want to start with the 2012 county breakdown map for the presidential race between Obama and Romney. Obama was running for re-election and won the state by 5 points. It was a lot closer than it was in 2008, which I want to say that President Obama was getting close to double digits in the win here in Pennsylvania. This was a very likely state for President Obama win in 2012, and we see he performed rather well. The reddest counties are counties that voted strongly for Mitt Romney. The bluest areas are the areas that voted strongly for President Obama. And the counties here that are shaded in blue do represent higher population areas. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Erie. And then these redder counties, there's more of them, and we have more deep red counties, but these are more rural counties. At most, you're only getting a few thousand votes out of these counties. So this is the way the map looked in 2012. We go forward to 2016 when this flipped from blue to red. You can see the map get considerably more red, and you can see that the blue areas have become a lot less blue. We're seeing a lot fewer counties, go towards the Democrat in this instance. Donald Trump won narrowly by 44,000 votes. And believe it or not, this state performed, or the Philadelphia area performed way a little bit better than we saw in 2012, which we'll get into. So Hillary Clinton met around the margin she needed to in the metro areas. It's just we saw such a strong performance in rural America. It really outweighed the advantages that Hillary Clinton had. As we move forward now to the 2018 governor's race, this is really going to show a swift change from these really red areas to a more of a blue tint to the map. And as we see, when Governor Tom Wolf was running for re-election, we're looking at Wolf winning by almost a 20-point margin here. We're looking at the Philadelphia metro region really starting to become a deep blue, the Harrisburg metro area becoming bluer, Erie flips back to blue, Pittsburgh flips back to blue. or gets a little bit stronger blue than we saw. So again, this was 2018, this was 2016, this was 2012. So 2012 is about where we would expect Joe Biden to perform. If he's winning the state by 6 points, he's likely replicating a map like this. But 2018 shows us that if Joe Biden is having a really good night and is winning states like Texas and Georgia, he's likely won this state not by 20 points, but by a margin that could replicate some aspects of this map. We're not looking at deep red counties like we were in 2016 on this map. We're looking at more deep blue counties. There are 4 regions I'm looking at in Pennsylvania to really show how Pennsylvania will go in this election cycle. We're going to break down the 2012 and 2016 races here. So in 2012, these are how these counties voted. And the areas we're looking at are the Philadelphia metro area, Eastern Coal Country. These are the northernmost counties in the Philadelphia area. This is Allentown and Scranton. We have the Pittsburgh area, and that's really just the county of Pittsburgh encompasses Allegheny County by itself. And then we're also looking at the mid-state counties. So these are counties that are not all together, but they are sporadic throughout the mid-state of Pennsylvania. And these are counties that do vote Democratic typically. So this includes Dauphin County. We're looking at the Erie area, and we're looking at Center County that encompasses State College. By far, the area with the most amount of votes, the Philadelphia metro area in 2012, brought in almost 2 million votes. President Obama carried this by over 30 points, by over 580,000 votes. President Obama won Eastern Coal Country. He won this by 5 points. The Pittsburgh area won this by 14. The Mid-State won this by 8, these individual counties. And this is what helped to propel President Obama to re-election and winning Pennsylvania because he was able to counter how uh, Governor Romney was doing, well, then Governor Romney was doing in the rural parts of the state. Fast forward now to 2016, we're looking at vastly different numbers. The one thing I want you to look at first, though, look at that Philadelphia metro area count region. It went from D plus 31 to D plus 33. So Hillary Clinton actually did a little bit better than President Obama in turning out the Philadelphia metro area, these counties around Philly. We saw more votes come in here, right around 2 million votes, and she won this by getting close to 700,000 votes. But the biggest change we see on this map, Eastern Coal Country, in 2012 went for Obama by 5 counties. In 2016 went to Trump by 10. That is a swing of 15 points. We saw Trump carry this by 75,000 votes. Pittsburgh, a little bit closer, went from D plus 14 to D plus 10, and these mid-state counties went from D plus 8 to D plus 1. So we did see a tightening of the race that was really emulated in these areas. We saw the night before the election, Hillary Clinton do a rally in Philadelphia that I'm sure helped to contribute to the higher margin here. But what we need to see are these other areas. Maybe Hillary Clinton didn't need to win Eastern Coal Country, but this state was decided by 44,000 votes. So you cut that R plus 10 in half or get it close to R plus 2 maybe, and you're looking at a better result. Or even if you turn up Pittsburgh a little more or do a little bit better in the mid-state. So I think the key to President or the president, either President Trump or Vice President Biden winning here is really going to be dictated by what happens in Eastern Coal Country, and I think personally what happens in the mid-state of Pennsylvania. I think if Donald Trump is able to stand this R plus 10, he's able to replicate that in 2020. He's probably on his way to re-election unless Joe Biden is able to turn up a little bit more turnout in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and in the mid-state. These are the counties that we saw, the pivot counties, the counties that changed hands between 2012 and 2016. We only have 2 counties that went from Romney in 2012 to Clinton in 2016. That was Center County and Chester County. Those areas got a little bit more red, or a little bit more blue, and even Center County was only decided by, I want to say, a tenth of a percentage point in 2012. But we saw 3 counties go from Obama 2012 to Trump 2016, and these counties were all in these groupings. So again, I think that the Eastern Coal Country region, the Scranton and Allentown region is really going to be key in deciding who are showing us who has won Pennsylvania and then who is able to win the Erie area. As we go back a couple slides, what we see in the governor's race for 2018, Erie was a safe blue area, yet 2016 barely went to Trump after going to Obama. So this is going to be a county that we are watching very closely, along with these, really all five of these counties are going to be areas that we're watching very closely, as well as these regions. So again, Pennsylvania is very critical. I think these are the counties to watch, and we'll continue to monitor this and see how this plays out as we get closer to the election. Thank you for joining me here today. Continue to post content. You can subscribe here on YouTube to get the latest videos I'm posting, or you can follow me over at Twitter at Blue Dog Politics for the latest information, the latest predictions, the latest thoughts I'm tweeting out. So thank you for joining me so much today, and have a nice and safe one.